Good morning, students. Today, let us begin a new chapter, Classification of Plants. All living things are classified into two main groups, plants and animals. The classification means grouping organisms together on the basis of certain common features, like whether the organism is single-celled or multicellular, whether the organism is autotroph and heterotroph, etc. So, what is the advantage of classification? By classifying the organisms, identify different organisms and placing them into particular groups. By doing this, we will get an idea about the evolution of organisms from simpler to complex forms. And even if we study one organism in a group, that means only the characteristics of the few members, we can conclude the characteristics of all members in a group. And it makes our study systematic. It highlights the relationship between the different organisms. Originally, the living world was broadly classified into two main kingdoms. Kingdom Plantae, which can also be called as a plants, and Kingdom Animalia, which is referred to the animals. But this classification presented certain confusions. Bacteria in the original classifications were classified along with the plants, but they possess the characteristics of both plants and animals. Similarly, protozoans were initially put under the kingdom animal. For example, Euglena contains chlorophyll, and we know that the plants contain chlorophyll, but it is devoid of a cell wall. But plants consist of cell wall. So, Euglena cannot be placed under the kingdom Plantae. At the same time, it has an eye spot-like structure like animals. Therefore, Robert Whittaker in the year 1969 suggested that the bacteria should not be classified under plants and even protozoans should not be put under the animal kingdom. He proposed a 5-kingdom classification, that is, Kingdom Monera, which includes all microscopic unicellular, that means single-celled organisms with a cell wall but no nucleus. They have a poorly developed nucleoid. Nucleoid means where the nucleus is not surrounded by the nuclear membrane. For example, bacteria. Second kingdom is a kingdom Protista, which includes the single-celled organisms like Monera, but here they have a well-developed nucleus. For example, amoeba, paramecium, chlamydomonas, and euglena. Third kingdom is the kingdom fungi, which includes mostly the multicellular organisms. And there is an absence of chlorophyll. That is why they cannot synthesize their own food and they depend on the dead and decaying matter for their food. So, fungi can also be called as saprophytes. Examples for the kingdom fungi are mushroom, yeast, bread molds. Fourth kingdom is the kingdom Plantae, which includes the multicellular eukaryotes with the cell wall, and the cell wall is composed of cellulose. Chlorophyll is present for the preparation of foods to carry out photosynthesis, hence plants are referred to autotrophs. The fifth kingdom is the kingdom Animalia, where it includes all the multicellular organisms but heterotrophic mode of nutrition, that means they depend on plants and other animals for the foods. Even they possess nervous system with the sense organs and unlike plants can move from one place to another. Animals are classified into two groups, that is, invertebrates and vertebrates. We have already finished this in chapter Classification of Animals. Let's study each kingdom in detail now. First, it's kingdom Monera, and the example is a bacteria. They are composed of a single cell, but the nuclear material is not enclosed in a nuclear membrane, and this is referred as a nucleoid. Since the nuclear membrane is absent, bacteria are prokaryotes. That cell wall is not made up of cellulose, but bacteria feed by absorption, hence they are called as heterotrophs. Many others live on other living organisms, and hence they are referred as parasites. Bacteria are one of the smallest and the structurally simplest organisms. They are found everywhere in water, air, soil. Even they are also found in the bodies of humans, plants and animals. They can survive in extreme temperature too. Bacteria, being the unicellular organism, it can be visible only under a high-powered light microscope. Based on the shape, there are 4 common forms of bacteria: Coccus, Bacillus, Spirillum and Vibrio. Coccus. These are the bacteria with a spherical or ovoid in shape. Bacillus. These are rod-shaped bacteria. They may occur in single rod shape, or they may also occur in the form of jointed ends. Spirillum, these are the spiral-shaped bacteria. Vibrio, these are the comma-shaped bacteria. Example, Vibrio cholerae, which is actually responsible for the cholera disease. Let us study the structure of a single bacterium cell. A bacterium cell has a most primitive nucleus, which is not surrounded by the nuclear membrane. It has only the chromatin material in the center. Outermost layer is a cell wall. The cell wall is again surrounded by the proteinaceous membrane called the capsule. Nucleus, mitochondria and plastids are absent, and the reserve food in bacteria is the glycogen. Remember, in bacteria, the outermost covering is a capsule. Inner to the capsule is a cell wall. Inner to this cell wall is the cell membrane. And the bacteria possess the flagella, which helps in the movement. Uses of bacteria. Bacteria is mainly used for the medicines, especially for the preparation of the antibiotics. Antibiotics will destroy the disease-causing germs in the body. Certain types of bacteria are used in the manufacture of antibiotics such as streptomycin. These antibiotics are used in killing many plant and animal diseases. Vaccines are used in preventing disease such as polio, tuberculosis and smallpox. These vaccines are prepared from the weakened disease-causing bacteria. Second use of bacteria is the lactobacillus bacteria, which helps in the curdling of milk, that is, the formation of curd from the milk, where it converts the lactose which is present in the milk into lactic acid. Certain bacteria like the Acetobacter ferment fruit juices into vinegar. Certain bacteria are used in curing of animal hides in the skin, which is referred as the tanning of leather. Jute fibers are separated and made softer by the use of bacteria, and this is referred as a retting of fibers. Cow dung, horse dung, and even agricultural waste are subjected to bacterial action to produce manure. The sewage plants in big cities, where the human excreta is decomposed by the sewage bacteria, and the inflammable gas produced in the process is collected for the cooking purpose. There are some bacteria which lives in the large intestine in human beings. E. coli, which produces vitamin B and vitamin K, which is necessary for the body. Bacteria also present in the intestine of animals like the cow and the buffalo that help in the digestion of cellulose. Certain bacteria are the saprophytic, which feed on the dead organic matter. They act like the scavengers and helps in the conversion of complex food materials into the nitrates, sulfates and phosphates, where the increase of fertility of a soil. Example, nitrifying bacteria. Rhizobium bacteria, which is found in the root nodules of the leguminous plant like the pea and the bean, that trap the nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into nitrates. These nitrates can be easily absorbed by the plants from the soil along with the water, where it provides nutrition to the plants. This kind of relationship where both plant and the bacteria is benefited is called symbiosis, and both the organisms are called symbionts. There are some harmful aspects of the bacteria. First one, bacteria spoils the food quickly due to the presence of certain activity in bacteria. Tinned and packaged food should not be consumed after their expiry date. This is because it can be infected by the bacteria. Second one, bacteria is responsible for the number of diseases like the typhoid, leprosy, tuberculosis, pneumonia, cholera. Typhoid, causative agent is a Salmonella typhi. Tuberculosis, causative agent is a Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Pneumonia, causative agent is Streptococcus pneumoniae. Cholera, caused by Vibrio cholerae. Diphtheria, caused by the Corynebacterium diphtheriae. In the next class, let's study about the kingdom Protista. Thank you. Have a great day.